if you're doing American history and you're in the 1920s, talk about the Harlem Renaissance.
Right, exactly.
Like, just talk about these things as you're talk about key events and key people of that time period. That and it's not that difficult.
Our position, I love how Monique says this, is Black history is American history. Like, what could a world be where we're embedding it in an organic way together to tell the full story of our country? That Black history is a big component of the American story, and that it should organically be all together, and to teach the fullest account possible, both the highs and the lows, the noble ideals on which our country is founded, and the times when we didn't live up to those ideals, and then the times when we overcame. I think all of that has to be in there.
Well, looking from a biblical perspective, I tend to say, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say it before, that when you look at Israel in the Bible, we see Israel as a prize, and we also see her as a prostitute. Now, I have lived in other countries and have traveled. I've lived in another country and have traveled to other countries, and there is no place like America. I love America, and yet America has her issues. She has a lot of issues in her past and in her present. And so when we look at America, we should be able to look at America as a prize and as a prostitute. I can look at her highlights. I can look at her accomplishments and the people who have accomplished great things as American citizens. And I can also look at the times when America has not shown up well for its own citizens. In fact, where the times where America has turned its back on its citizens. And so that is, though, part of living in a fallen world, living in a nation that has been founded by sinful humans. And we can talk about that. I think that's a more biblical approach than trying to extrapolate out a group of people. And now we just kind of center on them for just 1 month out of the, well, you get these 28 days where we can talk about you. Like, yeah.
And we always get, why we get the shortest month of the year. That's what people used to say. even that's a conspiracy.
You know it is.
So I know we have a lot of homeschool families watching. We've got Christian school teachers watching, Christian school administrators, parents with kids in Christian schools. If Kevin and Monique ruled the world and were writing a curriculum, the way that you guys would write it, I think what I hear you saying is, teach it as an organic whole of teaching the child about our history as a country or as a state or wherever we are, and that we can focus on the contributions of everybody who has made contributions. And if someone is feeling like, oh, I don't know who the Black intellectuals are, or all I ever hear about is MLK and Malcolm X and W.E. Du Bois, well, even that American Black history is a lot bigger than just those people.
I mean, what do you do with an American timeline?
Yeah.
So you're as a history teacher, here's the American timeline. You leave out all the Black people until you get to February, then you try to put them all in that timeline.
Yeah.
So now I have to cover everything from the 1600s until 1982 in 1 month. But I have a whole timeline, a whole year. Like, why wouldn't we insert people in where they belong?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been my stance. Like, if you're doing American history and you're in the 1920s, talk about the Harlem Renaissance.
Right, exactly.
Like, just talk about these things as you're talk about key events and key people of that time period. That and it's not that difficult.